So just to kind of give you guys a little walkthrough, at this point now the safety car should have entered the pits. You should see that SC flag go red any second now. Alright, so we get to the 80 and then we'll get the red, and then once we go green the lights will be out, and as you normally say, Mr. Ropo, away we go.
And the drivers are away indeed. The green flag drops, and there is Senna Somerville, or rather that's Rob Robinson on the outside of Jaden Harrison, trying to get around him, but it's not working. Jaden Harrison worked those tires to get them very grippy, and grippy they are indeed as he manages to hold on to that lead. Raven Plummer moves up into second position. There's contact there with, I believe that's Plummer and Harrison. Harrison manages to keep it pointed in the right direction, but it's doom and gloom for Raven Plummer here at the start of this race, where Jay Robinson leads us away. Now the man
because nobody has been past that 38.6, but as the usual followers of the Caribbean Touring Car knows, Mr. Robinson is typically the sandbagger of the bunch, so very excited to have him back. Glad to have you back as well, Mr. Roper, as I hear you in the background.
Jay Robinson is notorious for, well, he will never admit to it, but yes, we always see him in practice, you know, like a third or fourth, and then when it comes to qualifying, he miraculously finds, 10th and sometimes. Exactly. I can't wait to do it again. Oh my goodness, what was that there from Joshua Brady, getting those drifting skills, putting them into use there in the final, rather the penultimate corner here around Brands Hatch, allowing Kimani Eastman to catch right up with only 2 3/4 of a minute left in this race. Kimani there seems to be backing off, but wow, almost throwing it away there was Joshua Brady in the red Lancer. And Kimani, I think, perhaps knows that he has about 2 laps worth of time to make something happen here. And he is staying right on the rear wing of Brady ahead of him in the Ford Focus, I believe. Yes, the black Ford Focus there. Only 4 tenths between them as they head now into turn 4, taking different lines. But it seems to be working for Eastman as he is closer than he was before. They are almost side by side. It is quarter to fender here, heading down the hill into the fast right-hander. Will Brady leave him the space? He does. Can Kimani make it work here around the outside? If he does, it will be amazing. If he doesn't, it's gravel. Brady leaves us. Lots of Fords here for some reason. Perhaps they know something that we don't, but regardless of what you're driving, we are coming up to the start-finish line. The drivers are doing 80 kilometers per hour, waiting for that light to go green. It's round 2 of Brands Hatch, and it's a green light, and away we go into the first corner. Nicholas Donald keeping his inside line, and every driver, they are side by side, but the drivers seem to be getting through cleanly. Nicholas, they're running a bit wide, and it's an easy pass for Somerville and Tremblay heading into the second corner, the hairpin. Eastman now trying to keep that position from Mikhail Charles, and it looks like he manages to do so, but Mikhail Charles will have the inside heading into turn 3. Eastman leaves him the space, and it's Tremblay running out wide. pushing Senna Somerville into the lead of this race, followed by Tremblay, Mikhail Charles, and Eastman losing out that P3. Brady in P5, followed by Roger Keller and Roger Robinson. We were expecting something from Somerville, Brady, and Keller, as well as Robinson, but it looks as though Somerville is the one on top for now. But coming into the turn 5, the fast turn 5, it's going to be side by side between Mikhail Charles and Tremblay once again, but Mikhail Charles manages to snatch that position away, and now we are from P2 to P8. Not sure what happened there, we'll have to look back, but they are side by side. Is Eastman, Robinson, and Harrison. Harrison trying to pick through the field, as is Moss, being very opportunistic here and staying right behind Harrison. A bit of contact there between Moss and Robinson there, heading through fast right-hander. A bit of a ways off from her rival Kurt Moss, who is very close to the back of Jaden Harris, who is pressuring Kimani Eastman, who is still in a fight here with Joshua Brady, while the two at the front, Somerville and Charles, have about 2.5 seconds between themselves and the charging pack. Here is Eastman going side by side with Jaden Harrison. Jaden Harrison took him on the inside, but Eastman says no and closes the door. But here he is now about to lose 2 positions heading into the penultimate corner. Now coming through the final corner, can Moss get past Eastman as well? Harrison finally manages to get away from Moss behind him, and he's trying to extend that lead, but Moss is on the inside for the first corner. It's going to be about who breaks last here, and Eastman is knocking out there side by side through the first corner. Moss leaves him the space, but it doesn't matter how much space he left him, he still could not hold off the charging Mustappen. And there is Raven Plummer making a move on the heels of Moss trying to get past Kimani Eastman. I don't care if you call it commentator's curse. I said what I said and I meant it. Eastman was the one who had everything to lose here with this much talent behind him. And it seems as though he was able to put up an excellent fight, try as he might, but he could not keep them behind. And there's Harrison running a little bit wide. This may open the door to Kurt Moss behind him, as the gap has widened to Senna Somerville up ahead. So Mikhail Charles may have to start looking in his rearview mirror and focusing not on what is ahead of him, but what's behind him. Because what's behind him is 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers of extreme talent who don't intend on staying where they are now. There's contact between Harrison and Brady. I said Harrison was trying to push Brady out the way, and it looks as though I was right, as Harrison now moves up into P3, followed by Kurt Moss into P4. Brady there going a little bit sideways, not able to drift these cars though. They are front wheel drive, try as he might. Harrison, Moss, and Robinson cannot get enough of each other at this point on track. It is a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. It's Eastman leading Moss. That's no longer the case as Moss makes the overtake. Now it's Moss, Harrison, Eastman, or rather, I think Eastman just let them all by. He's saying, "This is not my cup of soup. This is a bit too hot for me." All that's going here is to see Jaden Harrison pushing that Corolla around the final corner. These two seem to have a bone to pick with each other. They have made a bit of contact, but they say Rubbings Racing, and we know that it was not, there's no deliberate contact here in the JSRA. Our drivers are much too sophisticated for that. As I see Eastman going down the inside of Robinson on the exit of the first corner, heading now through the hairpin. Can Robinson clap back? heading now into turn 3. As we see Kurt Moss there losing the back of his Corolla and allowing Jaden Harrison to move to the inside. Now they are side by side heading into turn 4. Those brake lights lighting up. And we saw Eastman make use of the alternative line, but it doesn't seem to be working out for Kurt Moss. Here, but it looks as though Robinson is going to quickly force him to look in the rearview mirrors. Sorry, less than a tenth between them. Here heading down the start finish straight, where Jay Robinson has the inside for the first corner. And I saw Eastman give it away here a couple of laps earlier. Maybe he'll try a switchback with Jay Robinson. Brady is not finished as yet, as they were side by side heading through turn 4, and Brady is still there, but Harrison will have the inside for the fast right-hander here. Will Brady leave the space? Will he back off? He does not. It's side by side heading through there, and another fast right-hander coming up. This is where we saw Plummer make light work of Somerville and Charles, but it seems as though Harrison is able to solidify that move.
And guess who's behind him?
And look behind them, it's Kurt Moss trying to get past Kimani Eastman. Eastman is, I'm definitely not going to say holding up, because he's not a placeholder, he's not traffic, he's absolutely forcing these drivers to work for it if they want the position. I don't think he has made any contact with anybody so far, even, finding himself in this era where he is fighting among some of the top talent here at the JSRA. Kimani Eastman still keeping it clean, as we expect from him now. He is a symbol of racing etiquette and of this race. Then Somerville still leading this race, having so much pressure from Mikhail Charles, but Charles cracking almost immediately as soon as Raven Plummer arrived to the scene. Wow, that actually raises a big question. If Somerville was able to keep the pressure and not crack under pressure from Charles, but Charles was so quick to crack under pressure from Plummer, what will happen between Somerville and Plummer? Well, let's watch and see what happens. Plummer moves to the inside, dummies the move and switches back to the outside. Oh my goodness! She is slicing and dicing up there. She feinted to the inside and forced Somerville to go defensive, and it's all unraveling here. She is making light work on these two. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely amazing from Plummer.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me thank you for joining me on Twitch, YouTube, and the Sportsmax app for the continuation of our official preseason. We are here tonight at the Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit in Austria. 4.3 kilometers of elevation changes and fast and slow corners. There's 10 corners make up this track. Few of them turn 2 aren't much of a corner, but regardless, they all add up to a new challenge for our drivers to take on here, to get accustomed with here in the preseason before we do it for real. We're here using the crowd favorite, our latest update to our custom built touring cars, the Mitsubishi Lancer, the Chevy Cruze, the Ford Focus, the Toyota Corolla, and the Honda Civic. We have our official season coming up very soon, next month, beginning at the start of next month, and so you can stay up to date for all that's going to be happening, all that's coming up soon, all the surprises we have coming up by following our social media accounts. You can find us on Instagram at JSRA Official. You can find us on Facebook, Jamaica Simulation Racing Association, and watch us live here on Twitch at JSRA_official, or you can watch the replays or VODs if you missed out on the live action to keep abreast of what's going on here and there. Trust me, it's only the preseason, but there is surely a lot going on. A few things that we're used to, the likes of Jaden Harrison, Raven Plummer, Rajay Robinson, and Kurt Moss battling it out no matter where they are on the grid, and some new points of contention. Last time around we saw Joshua Brady and Kimani Eastman going at it, as well as I believe it was Mikhail Charles and Senna Somerville absolutely battling it out on track around Brands Hatch. That was very exciting. If you missed that race, please feel free, go on our YouTube channel, just search for JSRA 876 and you'll find us and you can watch that replay. We have some for tonight's announcements. We for those of you who were not aware, the Jamaica Simulation Racing Association has registered drivers to compete in the WSS Virtual 12 Hours of Daytona. Our very best, Jaden Harrison, Chad Dillon, Michelle Wallace, and Rajay Robinson will be representing us on the international stage in the GT3 class, taking turns to pilot the Mercedes AMG GT3, aka the Peony Wally. For those of you who remember the green breadfruit for our debut at the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring, you should have an idea of what to expect with the amazing livery that Kimani Eastman has designed for us. They'll be piloting the Peony Wally around the world famous Daytona road course starting at 7 a.m. Saturday, February 10th at 8:30 p.m. the same day. We'll be streaming our drivers' POV live on Sportsmax app, Twitch, and YouTube for the entirety of the event. 10 minutes after the 12th hour, we will be making a huge announcement, including the beginning of our official season, including our rules, regulations, formatting, and of course, how you can be a part of it all. And this event comes in rapid succession after our previous endurance showing, where we were invited by the FIA to the Digital Autosport of Ukraine, the GT3 Solo Endurance Series. And round 3 of that event takes place next week, so keep in touch with our social media pages to see what's going on with regards to that event. Where last time out we were P2 and P13 with Jaden Harrison and Joshua Brady respectively. But for tonight, it's going to be all eyes on the ring, the Red Bull Ring, as we see what the CTCC cars are like around its 10 corners. It might seem like 10 short corners, but so far we are seeing not quite the 1 minute that we're used to,
In F1, we're seeing 1 minute 41.5, the time to beat here from Raven Plummer, currently sitting atop the timing sheets after the free practice session. Just a bit under a second adrift of her is Kimani Eastman, a 142.4 from him. Roger Keller 2/10 behind, 142.6. And behind him is Nicholas Donald, 143.2, 143.3 from Chad Dillon, less than a tenth between those two. Stephane Tremblay with a 143.4, so that, wow, 2/10 separating 4th, 5th, and 6th. And we see Jaden Harrison, Robinson, and Somerville there in the pits, not wanting to give away too much. So we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on those three there for when qualifying gets underway. And it's going to be just a few moments now before these drivers are able to rev up their engines, and they will all have their chance to put rubber to road and set the fastest lap time they can during the qualifying session. In the meantime, we can feast our eyes on these, like I said, custom built Caribbean touring cars that we know and love. And as the qualifying session gets underway, we can see the drivers competing to be the first out the gate. Jaden Harrison leading them away in the Ford Focus, followed by, I believe that's Raven Plummer, actually. Raven Plummer leading us away, followed by Jaden Harrison, Somerville, and Robinson. So I said we were going to keep our eye on this group here, and it's not even the race as yet, and they're already stuck together. There is the three, Harrison, Somerville, and Robinson, heading down this, well, not the straight, it's actually heading down turn 2 into turn 3, the tight right hairpin. It's actually around a corner and over a hill. A very tricky corner, that one. But in these front wheel drive machines, we should see some overtaking opportunities there. Also heading here down into turn 4. It's a very late braking zone. You have to get off the brakes, trail off the brakes, and get back onto the throttle to get that car hooked up and turned in for the right-hander, which brings you around to turn 5. And then through the left-hander into another left-hander, as we're seeing. Ladies and gentlemen, please accept my apologies for that technical issue there. We just had a little lapse of internet connection, but we will be rejoining right in the heat of the battle as Raven Plummer was the first across the line and is now heading into the second sector now, through the first left-hander, now through the second left-hander of turn 6, I believe it is, leading Harrison, Robinson, Somerville, Dillon, Tremblay, and it's looking good, if I say so myself. As she's rounding the penultimate corner is Raven Plummer. Across. Barely scrubbing any speed there. And it's foot flat to the floor. On the run up to the line. And let's see what it's going to be. The time to beat now is Raven Plummer's 1 minute 41.2. Purple in every sector. No one behind her was able to go any quicker. That's the time to beat, ladies and gentlemen. Jaden Harrison behind her, a 142.4 only. I think I misspoke. It's a 141.2 from Raven Plummer. Jaden Harrison over a second behind with a 142.4. Senna Somerville closely behind him, only 2/10, a 142.6. Nicholas Donald 7/10 behind him, a 143.4.
and a 1:43.7 from Stéphane Tremblay here for the first flying laps of the evening here. About 10 minutes left in this qualifying session, and it's looking like Raven Plummer is going to be our lady leading them away for the start of this race, but that's only going to be provisionally as we see some more moves being made up and down the grid. Roger Keller just setting his first lap time to move up to fourth, but Kimani Eastman coming across the line pips him for fourth position, sorry, with a 1:43.1. Kimani Eastman there, ladies and gentlemen, showing us how it's done. Here's Raven with a very wide entrance into the penultimate corner, carrying as much speed as physically possible in the little Chevy Cruze on the run up to the line now. She's improved in Sector 2. Let's see what it's going to be. Not so good in Sector 1, but across the line, and it's a 1:41.3. Not quite enough to improve on her time. Jaden Harrison sets a 1:42 dead, where Jay Robinson shifts him to the second row of the grid, moving up into second with a 1:41.5. Only 3/10 separating the top two now. Senna Somerville came across the line as well with a 1:43.2, not beating his previous best time of a 1:42. So it seems as though drivers may have a little bit of work to do here with 9 minutes left to go. The first run is everyone's best. We usually see an improvement on the second run, but not this time around. That could be for any number of reasons, but we're gonna stay on board them and see what happens. We rejoin the action here on board with Raven Plummer, who has Senna Somerville in her sights here. Not sure if this may be a distraction for her, or perhaps she's picking up a thing or two from the real-life racing driver Senna Somerville, who is piloting his Chevy Cruze. Both drivers here using the Chevy Cruze. Clutching up these corners here, heading through the final corner. We can see a difference of line being taken there. Senna's taking quite a shallow line heading into the corner, and Plummer taking a much wider line, but the both of them coming across the line now. We'll see if there's any improvement from them. Senna decides to abandon that lap, perhaps not looking how he wanted it to, but Raven Plummer coming across the lap. That seems to have been a warm-up lap for her, perhaps. She's now starting another lap. Let's stay on board with her coming through turn one. It seems very valid. staying within the white lines there through the slight kink of a left through turn 2, heading up the hill now, heavy braking zone into turn 3, spotting your braking marker and turning in nicely, using up the exit of the track there, then cutting back to the right side, making the track as short as possible to cut away the lap time, now drifting back to the left hand side as left as possible, leftmost on the track, braking heavily, trailing off the brakes, getting back on the throttle now from curb to curb. Excellent use of the track. Raven there showing us how it's done, making light work now off turn 5. Again, we can see it's going to be about who uses up the most amount of track, and why you want to use as much of the track as possible is you want to make the track as straight of a line as you can, because you're the fastest when you're going in a straight line. So you want to kind of have a racing line that you don't have much steering angle or steering input at all, you know. So you want to go from one extreme to the next, so you don't have to be yanking at the steering wheel. That keeps your momentum up, keeps your speed up, and that's what gives us good lap times. And speaking of good lap times, here's Plummer coming across the line. It's a 141.1 from her. Purple in the first 2 sectors, not quite improving in the 3rd sector, but it's going to be another improvement for Raven Plummer, further cementing her position there in the lead. J Robinson still in 2nd position, coming through the final couple of corners now. A lot of cars ahead of him. This may be detrimental to his qualifying, or he may be picking up a bit of slipstream here from the driver ahead of him. Let's see what it's going to be for J Robinson coming across the line. And it's a 141.4 for him. A personal best in the 3rd sector, but you know, these drivers ahead of you in the 1st and 2nd sector is not exactly what you want. You know, it's a bit more technical through those sections of the track. Jaden Harrison as well coming across the line to do a 141.7, his best lap so far. Improvements from all drivers, but nothing yet from Senna Somerville. As you can see, Kimani Eastman displacing Somerville down the order, taking that 4th position away. Behind him is Chad Dillon coming through turn 3 now, trying to set a respectable a proper lap time, perhaps being obstructed by traffic, but it's a clear track ahead of him now, heading down into turn 4, heavy braking zone there. Those disc rotors should be absolutely glowing at the end of this lap. Coming through up into turn 5 now, carrying a lot of speed, flicking that car into the left-hander, keeping it tucked in on the apex. Not quite there for Chad Dillon, but let's see what happens here now through the 3rd sector. Before we finish there, let's see what's happening for Senna Somerville, as he's currently trying to retake that 4th position, or even one of the top spots from Jaden Harrison or Kimani Eastman. 142.6 his best time, about 2/10 adrift from the man ahead of him, Kimani Eastman. Let's see what he does coming across the line, and it's going to be not enough for Somerville. His last lap, a 142.6, but it was an invalidated lap. So unfortunate there for Somerville. We have about 1.5 minutes left in this qualifying session. If you're just starting your lap, you have about 1 more chance. Just about. So we're going to stay on board with J Robinson, who has just rounded the 1st corner, coming up through the kink here, turn 2. It's very much a straight, but we can see there on his delta, he's already up by a 1/10.5, heading up into turn 3 now. Heavy braking. He's the fastest in the 1st sector. That means he was the fastest through turn 1. Coming up through turn 3 now, going around the corner and over the hill, making that track as straight as possible, as we said, staying on the right, then veering to the left for this heavy braking zone now. Is J Robinson going as wide as the track will allow him, getting off those brakes as early as possible, dancing on the edge of the track limits there, not leaving anything up for grabs. He's going all out for his final chance here in the qualifying session, heading now through turn 5, flicking that car left, It seems to have been an early apex for him. Now heading into turn 7, then 8. It's quite a large chicane here if you want to think of it that way. You know, staying on that curb, a personal best in the second sector, but it might not be enough, as Raven Plumber still holds the fastest middle sector. But coming through the final couple of corners now is J. Robinson. He's gonna have one more chance if this wasn't it, but this might have been what he needed. He is 3/10 up, I believe, on his best time. Coming up across the line now, that would give him exactly what he needed. It's going to be not enough for J. Robinson, invalidating on that lap. Regardless, it was a 141.5. All eyes now will be resting on Robinson and Summerbell. Summerbell heading now into the second sector. A personal best for him through the first sector. For Robinson, it is a personal best again. Gaining a lot of time there through the third corner. We're going to see what happens with these two drivers. Roger Keller as well, still on a flyer here. Personal best in the first sector. Let's see what happens for him coming up across the line now. Can he remove Chad Dillon from that 6th position? He tried, but it was not enough. Chad will solidify himself in that 6th position for the start of this race, but Senna Summerbell is still on it, still improving. An improvement in the first sector, an improvement in the second sector, coming into the penultimate corner now. Scrubbing as little speed as possible. It is still an improvement, but he needs about a little bit over a 10th. And so far, it looks like it's only half a 10th of an improvement. Will he get that position? He comes across the line, and he does. It's a 142.2 for Summerbell, gaining an immense amount of time there in the final corner, it seems. And J. Robinson ducks into the pits, trying to find 3/10 and was not able to do so. A valiant effort from him coming across the line to finish qualifying with a 141.4. That was very close there, a nail biter right to the end. Senna Summerbell dethroning Kimani Eastman there from that 4th position. An exciting qualifying session. Our lady on pole is Raven Plumber, and beside her is J. Robinson starting in 2nd. In 3rd, we have Jaden Harrison, followed by Senna Summerbell. Kimani Eastman starts in 5th, alongside Chad Dillon. Behind them are Roger Keller and Nicholas Donald. Stephen Tremblay starts in P9, and Joshua Brady rounds out the grid in P10. And I know there will be a few viewers who are looking forward to seeing the or 911 or Porsche safety car, but for tonight and tonight only, we're going to be having the grid being led away by our brand new or newest addition to our custom built touring cars. The Honda Civic will be tonight's safety car, and who doesn't love a Civic? So we're gonna be led away momentarily for the start of this race. It's going to be a rolling start. Drivers will essentially have a formation lap to get some heat into those tires and line up double-breasted for the start of the race. Just over a minute now until we get lights out and away, and drivers will be making their final adjustments. They're ensuring their tire pressures are all up to spec, ensuring they're hydrated. Anybody who needs to use the restroom would have been doing so right now. Ensuring the wheel is connected. No unfortunate mishaps here tonight for the first of our 2 races for the evening. 2 20-minute races. The first race will determine the starting position for the second race. It's going to be a reverse grid of the top 10 drivers, seeing as though there are only 10 drivers for tonight. It's going to be whoever finishes in P10 starting on pole for the second race. Here we are for the start of the race. A reminder, folks, it is a rolling start, so we're going to see the Honda Civic, our safety car for tonight, making its way through the pack to lead us away. We'll have essentially one formation lap. Then drivers will go at 80 kilometers an hour before the green flag is waved. And then it's going to be an all-out melee heading into the first corner. A tight right-hander here, the world-famous Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit. You've seen many a race start here over the years. And we are revisiting this track with our beloved CTCC cars, or Caribbean Touring Championship cars, custom built for this series. So it's Raven Plummer who qualified on pole position, just ousting Ray Robinson, who starts in second position. Jaden Harrison lines up behind them in third position. And Senna Somerville, a strong showing from him, keeping up the strong form we've been seeing throughout preseason testing here, starting in fourth position. Getting the better of Kimani Eastman, starting in fifth. And Roger Kello starting in sixth position. Nicholas Donald and Chad Dillon starting in 8th and 9th. Sorry, 7th and 8th. And Stephen Tremblay and Joshua Brady in P9 and 10. So here we can see the temporary safety car, the Honda Civic, pulling away now. It's all going to be under the control of Raven Plummer until that green flag is dropped. You can see the drivers will be lining up side by side, 2 by 2, heading into the final corner for the start of this race. Two Chevy Cruises leading us away here. It seems maybe they know something we don't know, because I believe Somerville as well is in a Chevy Cruise. Yep, that's a Chevy Cruise. 3 Chevy Cruises lining the top 3 positions there. So we will see what happens. But we're coming through the final corner now. Drivers are itching to get that right foot down. It's going to be 20 minutes of racing here at the Red Bull Ring. And it's a green flag. Senna Somerville immediately with a drive-through for the jump start, but Raven Plummer losing out a position to Roger Robinson immediately as Robinson started on the inside, but it's Somerville in the yellow Cruise that is going side by side with Robinson through the first corner. And here comes Raven Plummer trying to get back at Roger Robinson. They make contact on the straight. Jaden Harrison trying to capitalize on a bit of contact there from his favorite racing rivals. But it's going to be Roger Robinson down the inside. No, Senna Somerville keeps that position, followed by Roger Robinson, Raven Plummer, and Kimani Eastman now getting a position, moving up past Jaden Harrison, who seems to have dropped back at the start of that race there, heading now down into turn 4. Somerville leads from Robinson. It's Eastman now making a move on Harrison and Plummer. Plummer going side by side with Harrison. And Eastman coming off worse there. Further down the order, Chad Dillon and Joshua Brady making up positions. Brady moving from 10th to 6th. Nicholas Donald in 7th and Kimani Eastman falling back to 8th position. And Roger Keller in 9th and Stephane Tremblay in 10th. But it's Somerville moving from 4th to 1st in the space of one lap. Just a few corners actually. Managing to get his way past Robinson and Plummer there, making some decisive action in the first corner, and is our race leader for the start of this race. The first lap now under the belt, but it's not over. Robinson wants that position, and he's might get it, not quite doing in the first corner. Somerville with the fastest lap so far, 145.1. That time will be dropping. As we can see, Robinson only 6/10 behind him, and he now has Raven Plummer for company behind as she's sitting in that slipstream, designing a move here up into the third corner. Not quite making a move just yet, perhaps wanting to get a little bit closer before she makes a dive down the inside, around the outside. We know she can slice and dice her way through a pack. It's what she's known for. And Jaden Harrison in 4th position, perhaps biding his time. We know he's very quick, and we can see that speed being showcased here late on the brakes, gaining time on Plummer ahead of him. Plummer may have to take her mind off what's ahead of her and look into her rearview mirror, because this bright blue Ford Focus is definitely one to keep her eye on. Jaden Harrison is going to be looking to make his way past these 3 drivers ahead of him. 14 minutes left to go in this race. Where did 5 minutes go? I have no idea. It's not even been 2 full laps, and the time is already flying. Such is the action on track. And we can see these 4 are always to get. You know who we'd need right now? Kurt must be on the track, and it would be a 5-some, but through the penultimate corner goes Nicholas Donald and Kimani Eastman side by side. It's allowing Roger Keller to catch and to pass. Roger there making it look easy as he makes the move on Kimani Eastman for 8th position. Moving across to the left-hand side to solidify his position there. Now setting his sights on Donald ahead. Roger Keller absolutely putting on a show for us here, but up ahead is Robinson getting past Somerville into the 3rd section of the heavy braking zone. Will Raven Plummer try to get past as well? She's there down the inside. Somerville leaves the space, but she's still there, allowing Robinson to get away. Plummer now being shouldered off the track almost, and it looks as though she's not happy with that, flashing Somerville, but Somerville knows she's extraordinarily quick, and from last race at Brands Hatch, he knows that she will not waste any time to try and get past. So he is going to make it as difficult as possible. But for the time being, it's going to be Roger Robinson with the lead of this race, as Plummer and Somerville behind battle it out for 2nd position at the moment. The gap between 1st and 2nd now extending to almost a 2nd in the space of a couple of corners. Somerville now looking to fully go into defensive mode, having lost out that lead of the race. Jaden Harrison there just keeping himself occupied, enjoying the battle ahead of him. Here's Raven going down the inside. There's contact from behind from Harrison, and it's 3 drivers. It's going to be 3 drivers involved in this contact, and there is a safety car being called. That was, oh my goodness, that's not what Jaden Harrison would have intended there. Having made contact with the back of Raven Plummer. Plummer trying to get past Somerville not making it easy at all, going very defensive into the penultimate corner there, and it's like a concertina effect there. You know, the front, or rather the back catching up with the front, and a contact is made. This results in now in J. Robinson still in the lead of this race, but Joshua Brady, I have no clue where he came from, but Joshua Brady now in second position. Chad Dillon in third position, managing to avoid the collision made there in the penultimate corner. It's a blind corner, so perhaps making use of their map and radar. Raven Plummer now in fourth position. Crucially for her, ahead of Somerville, so that little problem for her. That thorn in her side is now officially removed. Somerville picking up a drive through there from his earlier infraction, but picking up yet another one for speeding into the pits as well. Roger Keller in fifth position, followed by Nicholas Donald. Donald will have his chance to get back past Roger Keller. Kimani Eastman, having started in fifth position, now down in seventh, has a second chance in only one race. We are just about halfway through this race, and for those of us just joining us, you're joining us after a bit of an incident between Jaden Harrison, Raven Plummer, and Senna Somerville. Somerville in second position, trying to hold off Raven Plummer, and Jaden not expecting the slowdown ahead of him. Driver is just getting a bit too close for comfort there, and making a bit of contact, but the safety car is now in, and we will be seeing a countdown momentarily for the drivers to get back to racing speeds. You can see, I believe that is Jaden Harrison there at the back of the grid. I'm not sure. There's so much action going on. Jaden Harrison was definitely involved in that accident, but he's down in P9 for the time being. Somerville taking his final drive through and will just about catch the pack as they make their way back up to racing speed. We can see Somerville there in the background, and it's a green light heading through turn 2, going into turn 3 up the hill. And not much side-by-side action here. Rather, yes, there is. It's Joshua Brady and Raven Plummer side by side. Chad Dillon and Brady, as a matter of fact. Chad Dillon on the inside, Brady on the outside, trying to make something happen here. He will have the better line, Brady, heading into the fourth corner. But here's Raven Plummer way on the outside. Will she get the switchback? There's a bit of contact between the two ahead, and she's unable to do so. But Kimani Eastman with the switchback, taking the inside and demoting Plummer into fifth position. Kimani Eastman now has the momentum behind him, and there further behind, I believe, is Roger Keller trying to make a move on Jaden Harrison. But up ahead, it's Robinson running away with the lead of this race. Chad Dillon in second position, fending off Joshua Brady. Behind him, Kimani Eastman in the blue Focus has Plummer for company there in fifth position. And it won't be long before Plummer tries to make a move, and there she goes through the penultimate corner again, down the inside of Kimani Eastman in a very swift manner there, dispatching off Eastman, who now has Nicholas Donald behind him, but Donald has Harrison behind him as well. And they will be wasting no time whatsoever. There's Plummer side by side with Joshua Brady heading into the first corner. Brady there making a bit of contact, sending Plummer a bit deep into the first corner, but it looks like she has that position. Nope, Kimani Eastman retakes the advantage over Plummer. Plummer having a hard time of it here around the Red Bull ring. Now going side by side with Harrison and Nicholas Donald, who moves up into fourth position. Heading into turn 3 now, Plummer tries to make a move. She's down the inside now of one, of two. Nope, it's going to be just one car. Jaden Harrison. Harrison taking the wider line and managing to keep out of any problems with Plummer. But up ahead is Harrison and Donald into the fourth corner. Donald on the outside, Harrison on the inside. We know he's good on the brakes. What can he do here? Donald leaves the space, and Harrison takes that position. And here's Plummer trying to get involved in it all here now. She's kind of Sandwich on the inside, and behind her, Keller and Tremblay going at it. The two Honda Civics. They are going back and forth and back and forth. There's so much action here going on tonight. I need to pause and take a drink of water. Oh my goodness. I think that's Raven Plummer there. Unfortunately, going side by side through turns 7 and 8. And it looks as though she's coming off worse for wear here, having spun off into the gravel. Raven Plummer driving her heart out. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem as though the Red Bull ring is favoring her tonight. But who it's favoring, it's definitely favoring Somerville and Eastman respectively. Somerville in 6th position, fighting off Tremblay and Brady behind. Brady now making a move up over Tremblay, but up ahead it's Kimani Eastman, who for the next 5 minutes has it all to do. Jaden Harrison in his rearview mirror confusing Eastman, not letting him know which direction he's going to be going. Harrison there almost confusing himself, momentarily forgetting when to brake, but managing to keep the car pointed in the right direction for the time being, and lives to fight another day to try and snatch the final podium position from Eastman, taking a very different line there from Eastman, heading into the heavy braking zone of turn 4. Jaden Harrison, who throughout the free practice session that was before we were broadcasting, had managed to get down to, I believe, a 140 in the 140s, so he is not shy for speed here. And I think, well, that's Eastman definitely not giving up a position, perhaps just not using the same technique as Harrison. Harrison managing to carry a lot more speed through that corner there, heading into the penultimate corner, turn 9, and Eastman thinking better of it, just allowing Harrison to take that position cleanly. The pace difference is immense, and I think they both know that, but further behind, I don't think Roger Keller or Senna Somerville cares about who is the faster driver. It's one thing to catch and another thing to pass. Senna Somerville here in a bit of a battle with Roger Keller up ahead, managing to extend that gap between himself and Joshua Brady behind in the black Mitsubishi Lancer. Now focusing on Keller ahead of him for the final couple of laps for race 1. Kimani Eastman here, try as he might, unable to match the pace of Harrison ahead of him, as this race now comes down to its dialing down now. The drivers maintaining their positions, having figured out their strengths and weaknesses here. In the final couple of moments here for this race, it's going to be about 20 more seconds before the end of this race, and we'll have one more lap. And I believe in that time we are definitely going to see Jaden Harrison try and get past Chad Dillon here for second position. And with one lap left, you know, the it's still in one's position. Jaden Harrison already on the podium, but we know Jaden, and he will not settle. If he can get that second step on the podium for the first race, you know, and give us a show in the meantime, he's definitely going to do so. Keep in mind, as this race draws to a close, who you want for your driver of the day. I mean, it's only the first race. It's only the first race, but you can start thinking about your overtake of the race and your move of the race. And you know, we've seen some nice action here up and down the grid from all the drivers. I don't think any driver is in the same position they started. So we are spoilt for choice, really and truly, here. Coming up onto the final lap. Currently, J. Robinson comfortably in the lead, 7 seconds ahead of Chad Dillon there in the background, fighting for P2, and Jaden Harrison right up under that rear spoiler there. Here's Chad Dillon going very defensive, heading into the first corner. Jaden takes it wide and goes around the outside, making it look almost effortless. Is Jaden Harrison. Jaden there, oh my goodness. That will definitely be a contender for overtake of the race. My goodness, will Chad try and retake that position? He dummies to the inside, but it's not going to be enough for Dillon. Jaden Harrison there, putting himself onto the second step of the podium. That was an excellent move. Further down the order, we can see Tremblay, Brady, and Donald still very much in a battle of their own. And let's not forget about Plummer as well, who had fallen down the order, has caught up now to Nicholas Donald. And she has a couple more corners to make something happen, about 5 more corners to try and I don't know, for I don't know, maybe for pride's sake, finish anywhere other than dead last. But keep in mind, the second race coming up is a reverse grid, and the driver who finishes in P10 for that race will be starting on pole. Speaking of pole, J. Robinson comes across the line to finish in first position for the first race. Jaden Harrison snatching away second position from Chad Dillon, who finishes in third right at the last moment. Kimani Eastman finishing in fourth position. Senna Somerville coming across the line in fifth. Roger Keller holding on for sixth position after showing Brady how it's done. Stefan Tremblay in 8th position, and Nicholas Donald keeps that 9th position, but I think that may have been strategically done from Raven's side of the garage. You know, she knows she will have pole position for the next race, so she will have her redemption arc for the second act of tonight's proceedings. But that was a masterful drive there from Robinson. As soon as he got in the lead, he held it right till the end, taking the victory in this second race here. Jaden Harrison with a beautiful move there, textbook move heading into turn 1 to snatch that P2 from Chad Dillon, who came across the line in P3. Our resident host with the most, finishing on the podium there, Kimani Eastman, managing to finish in 4th after, I think at one point in time was in 2nd. But you know, it's I was gonna say it's a long race, but it was only 20 minutes. This seems as though it was the Austrian Grand Prix we were watching here. That race, which is known for lots of moves, especially around such a short track. Congratulations to the winners of this first race, and we will be heading into the second race momentarily. Let me remind you to think out your driver of the day and overtake of the race. We'll be having a poll on our story posted after the race, where watchers can get involved. We want to hear who you think was deserving of the title of overtake of the race and driver of the day. Just a few more moments now until we head into the start of the second race, which is a reverse grid of the results of the first race. It's going to be a rolling start. We'll be having our Honda Civic safety car leading us away for this race as well. Only for this event, we will get back to using the Porsche 911 safety car that we have come to know and love. But for this event, the Honda Civic has been taken out of the garage to lead us away. So the drivers will have basically a formation lap to get some heat into the tires and get ready to rumble. As we can see, Raven Plummer here in first position, having finished in last for the first race. Nicholas Donald in second, Stephen Tremblay followed by Roger Keller, Joshua Brady, Senna Somerville, Kimani Eastman, Chad Dillon, Jaden Harrison, Roger Robinson, and Stephen Pommels. So drivers there, not quite weaving, but definitely trying to get some heat into those tires. Towards the end of the lap, we'll see the safety car peel off into the pits and drivers going double file for the start of the race. And for the first race, the start was absolutely packed with drama, as we saw Somerville moved from, I think it was 4th to 1st. So we may see something similar here. We have the likes of Joshua Brady, Roger Keller, and Stephen Tremblay in the prime position to make something happen into the first corner. Raven Plummer there, giving us the drive of a lifetime in the first race, but one incident too many, proving to be unfortunate for her, resulting in her spinning off into the gravel and subsequently starting at the head of the pack here for the second race. The driver is now going to 80 kilometers an hour, coming around the penultimate corner here to start the second race of the evening. It's going to be Plummer leading Donald, leading Tremblay, Brady, Keller, Somerville, Eastman, Dillon, Harrison, Robinson, and Pommels. Second race of the evening, and the drivers are now away full speed down the start finish straight heading into turn 1, and let's see what happens here. Raven Plummer on the outside takes the racing line and goes firmly into the lead of this race, followed by Nicholas Donald in the Civic behind, Senna Somerville in third position in the yellow Chevy Cruze, Joshua Brady in the black Lancer there, managing to hold on to his position heading into turn 2, now into turn 3, the heavy braking zone, hairpin right-hander. There's Brady trying to make a move on Somerville. Brady down the inside, but Somerville holds on, taking a wider line, and Brady actually loses a position now to Tremblay through turn 3. Attack now turns into defense for Brady, but here's Somerville heading into the 4th corner, trying to make something happen here on Nicholas Donald, but perhaps not close enough. Tremblay close enough, however, to make a move on Somerville, but for the time being, it's going to be Raven Plummer comfortably in the lead and Nicholas Donald in second position. Further down the order, we can see Jaden Harrison in 8th position, only 3/10 off the back of Chad Dillon, trying to make something happen here. This group towards the back here, the top finishers for the last race. Jaden Harrison will have it all to do here tonight. 15 minutes left to try and retake as many positions as he can. And through the final corner, a big accident there for Chad Dillon, perhaps losing the rear end of that car, and it's unfortunate for him there. In that very same corner, we saw tragedy strike for Harrison, Somerville, and Plummer, but for the time being, Jaden Harrison comes away unscathed. Only a 10th, less than a 10th now behind Tremblay in 5th position. Harrison is going to try and make a move here, and behind him we can see Pommels, Robinson, and Eastman battling away for position. Harrison on the inside there, boxed in for turn 3, unable to make anything happen. But Stephen Pommels here getting a drive out of turn 3, side by side with Roger Robinson down into turn 4. It's going to be anyone's corner. As you can see, Harrison and Robinson still jostling for position there, side by side, 3 wide heading into turn 4. No sparks flying here, everyone managing to keep it clean, heading into that right-hander. But now it's going to be Robinson on the outside with Pommels ahead of him. He's taking the wider line, trying to switch back. Perhaps Pommels makes that car wide and positions it exactly where it needs to be. Robinson now just dipping a wheel or two into the gravel, and there goes Kimani Eastman going up the inside of Roger Robinson, trying to get past him, capitalizing on that mistake from him earlier. But Robinson, he's not going to make it that easy at all, and says you'll have to try again to Kimani Eastman. But Raven Plummer up ahead, keeping clear of those behind, Somerville and Brady getting past Harrison. Not sure what happened there, but Brady is managing to hold off Harrison, and Tremblay behind just got passed by Harrison, trying to retake that position. 2/10 between them. Everyone setting their personal best of the race, heading into turn 1. Side by side behind is Robinson and Eastman. I think that was... No, it was Tremblay and Brady. Brady losing that position to Harrison, and here comes Stephen Pommels from behind, as well as Kimani Eastman. It's going to be 3 wide, heading into turn 3. Whose position is it going to be? It seems as though Kimani Eastman is going to come out on top here, snatching that position from Tremblay, and Pommels is going to have to try again. Amazing racing here tonight from these three. We can see a bit of a rivalry between Pommels and Eastman perhaps starting to form, but Eastman coming on top for the time being. Robinson behind, only 4 tenths behind these three ahead. Perhaps enjoying the racing a little bit too much, not closing down the gap so much. It's about 2 tenths now between himself and Pommels heading into the middle sector. Pommels taking a nice tight line here, forcing Robinson to use up those tires, but there goes Pommels with a bit of contact with the dust there and the gravel on the outside, slowing down and halting the progress of Robinson. But up ahead, Pommels is dropping back from Tremblay ahead, and Robinson is closer than ever. It's going to be side by side for Pommels and Tremblay into the penultimate corner. This seems to be the action corner here. Turn 8 and 9. Here is Robinson, who gets a better run out of the final corner. It's going to be 3 wide again, heading into the first corner. This is where it all went wrong for Robinson at the start of the first race. What can he do here in the second race? Tremblay, Robinson, and Pommels. Pommels takes the outside and steams ahead into the lead of this little battle here, solidifying himself into 7th position. But Robinson is only 4 tenths behind and will be trying again. Further up ahead, Jaden Harrison has Nicholas Donald for company sooner rather than later. A second between those two, but further behind is Chad Dillon making up a position on Roger Keller. Those two going side by side going into turn 3. Chad Dillon, who started at the lead, almost at the lead of this race, or rather finished in third position, sorry, so much going on. Finishing in 3rd position for the first race, unfortunately losing out here in the second race, but still lots of action on track for him. Only 3 tenths behind Roger Keller. Going down the inside now was Chad Dillon on Roger Keller, but perhaps not the best place to do it. But Roger ahead, trying to make a move on Eastman. Eastman struggling to keep ahead of the 3 behind him. Keller, Dillon behind him in the red Civic and the black Chevy Cruze. But Eastman now. And there's a bit of contact between Keller and Dillon. Not sure what's happening there. Is some driver going slowly? I believe that was Tremblay trying to get out of the way, causing more problems than he was trying to solve. But it's going to be back to level pegging here for Dillon and Keller at the back of the grid there. Further up ahead, we can see Jaden Harrison getting very close to the back of Nicholas Donald. We saw him go left. We saw him go right. Here into turn 3 in the first race, what will he do? He's going to keep Nicholas Donald guessing. Going very wide there, trying to get the switchback possibly. Back on the throttle, and Jaden Harrison getting very close to the back of Donald now. Donald trying to position that car in the most defensive way possible, heading into the 4th corner. Will Jaden go down the inside? No, he decides to give him a bit of space here and perhaps try to do a switchback, but Nicholas Donald seems to have the defense on lock, keeping Jaden Harrison behind and keeping his hand on that 3rd position for the time being. Jaden there almost making contact, it seems, with Donald heading through turn 6, now through turn 7 and 8. The 2 drivers, the red and blue cars on your screen right now, they almost look like one car because they are that close to each other. Giving us a lot to watch and commentate on here. And also is Stephen Pommels and Jay Robinson, as well as Kimani Eastman, seemingly falling back out of this battle. But these two giving us a lot to talk about here. But let's not move away from Donald and Harrison just yet, as Somerville comes across the line, still in P2, setting his personal best of the lap. Jaden Harrison now heading onto another new lap here, trying to go down the inside in the first corner, begging for more power from his Focus, I can just assume. You know, trying to get that gas pedal just a bit further down, you know, get a bit more air into the engine, a bit more speed. It might not be speed he needs, it might be a little bit of handling, a bit of you know, cutting up the traffic, as they would say. The young kids today. But this is definitely not traffic ahead of him. Nicholas Donald putting on a defensive show here for us, and all of Harrison's attacks so far proving to be inadequate. Heading now down into the fourth corner again. About 7 minutes left in this race, and the pack behind Robinson is being able to catch up now, as the pack behind Harrison, sorry, is catching up to the battle ahead of them. Roger Robinson leads, Brady leads Pommels. This little trio here still battling it out for P5. Pommels, we saw them going side by side at numerous parts of the track just a few moments ago. You know, once again, the CTCC car is proving to be extraordinarily competitive, a very competitive class. You know, it's not just about the car. You know, you can choose any car you'd like to choose. We can see here Nicholas Donald in the Honda Civic and Jaden Harrison in the Ford Focus. But it's not about the car, it's about the driver. It's about what lines you take, it's about how you drive this car, how hard you brake. And here is Jaden Harrison showing that he's taking a different line, and he may now have to rely on braking that bit later to get past Nicholas Donald. He is there on the inside, and it's going to be a clean pass there from Jaden Harrison. And here's Robinson trying to get past Donald as well. Robinson now firmly back in the fight, with Jaden Harrison coming from the back of the grid back up to the front. It's going to be Robinson on the outside trying to make a move in the Chevy Cruze. Donald goes for the switchback. It's almost a dive bomb from Donald there, but he was still there, still relevant in this fight. And here is the second trio for the night. Heading through the middle sector now is Robinson, Harrison, and Donald. Jaden leading them away, but Roger Robinson and Nicholas Donald in close tow behind them. Jaden showing a bit of prowess through this fast left and right hand section here, but Robinson is still there with him. Donald now having Pommels in his rearview mirror, no longer there. He's now in his blind spot, side by side through the penultimate corner, and Pommels moves up a position. Let's see what Donald has to say about that. He's there on the inside, and it's contact between Nicholas Donald and Stephen Pommels. Pommels there getting away from the action, but unfortunately for Nicholas Donald, it's going to be all he wrote here for tonight, dropping to the back of the grid. But that's racing, ladies and gentlemen. You risk it for the biscuit, and unfortunately Nicholas Donald there coming off worse in the end. It's going to be about 5 minutes left in this race. Raven Plummer has been leading from the very start. A very lonely race for her, but I'm sure this is exactly what she wanted after that disaster of a race in the first race for Plummer. Somerville 10 seconds behind, having a nice little old time by himself, perhaps wanting to be more closely involved in the action here, but finishing on the podium is going to be a very good result for Somerville in yet another event here in the preseason. If this is how he's performing in his debut here for the debuting in the CTCC for this or 2024 season, and this is the preseason, I can only imagine what it's going to be like seeing and having that extra talent, that extra driver on the grid to shake up the place, you know. And we're used to seeing Kurt Moss here putting on a show for us as well, but perhaps keeping his performance a secret heading into our official season starting very, very soon. Stay tuned to our social media pages to keep up to date on what's happening. We have a huge announcement coming up tomorrow after our 12-hour event that we'll be taking part in after the race. We'll hear more on that, because right now we're focused on Rajay Robinson forcing Harrison off the track, not from the side. Both drivers braking very late there. Jaden knows that he has to work to stay ahead of Robinson, and Robinson knows he has to push to get past Harrison. It's going to be anyone's race here heading into the final moments of this race for the last step on the podium. There's Joshua Brady now in 6th position, settling into 6th. It seems the gap between himself and everyone else over 3 seconds. So not much there for him to do for the time being, but the race is not over as yet. And that is exactly what Stefan Tremblay will be thinking to himself. Having Roger Keller behind him in 10th. He's going to have to be on his P's and Q's to keep Keller behind. In that Honda Civic, it's Civic versus Civic, and Roger Keller is closer now than ever before, just 3 tenths between the two. But we're going to keep an eye on their times to see what happens, as the gap between Harrison and Robinson seems to be extending a bit. We're going to focus on the back of the grid, where it's heating up now in the final moments of this race. There is Keller going aggressive down the inside into the penultimate corner. Tremblay leaves the space there, no contact made yet. Into the final corner, the right-hander. No rubbing there. Very respectful, both drivers giving each other lots of space. And I think that may have been just a test run for Keller, seeing what Tremblay will do when he puts him under pressure. Now he knows that he's a clean driver, as are all the drivers here at the JSRA. He's going to try that again, perhaps with a little bit more oomph in that attack. Ladies and gentlemen, we rejoin the action here on board with Senna Somerville, who has perhaps, not sure if it's perhaps getting a little bit bored or making a few too many mistakes here and there. Somerville relinquishing that gap, that buffer he had to the rest of the pack behind him, having sat in 2nd position for almost the entirety of this race. He now has Jaden Harrison and Rajay Robinson closing in behind him. We're now at, I believe this is the final lap of the race. 2 seconds between Harrison and Somerville. There may not be enough time for Harrison to make something happen here, but regardless, it's definitely perhaps something to keep in the back of his mind there, Somerville. Ensure he comes home cleanly to finish this race in 2nd position. And Stefan Tremblay and Roger Keller here having their own battle right down to the last moment. in the Honda Civics here, heading through the middle sector. Roger Keller will have his final chance to get past Stéphane Tremblay here, heading through turns 5, 6, 7, and 8. We can see Roger taking a different line every single corner, trying to get past Stéphane, but nothing doing for Roger Keller. Raven Plummer now starting the 13th and final lap. Keller will have one last go at it, and Somerville has to keep in second position and defend from Harrison, who is now about a second behind him, for one more lap. Roger Robinson, half a second between himself and Harrison ahead. Perhaps a few desperate moves here and there we may be seeing. Not quite from the two veterans of this particular craft. Roger Robinson trying to get as close as possible, but it's not going to be enough this time around. I say this time around, but it's the final time here around the Red Bull Ring. It has been 4.3 kilometers of left, right, up and down through the 10 corners that make up this track. With the second race here, the reverse grid, Raven Plummer started on pole position and took a very decisive lead and extended it throughout the entirety of this race. She's coming through the final corner here for the final time and on the run up to the line to take victory here at the Red Bull Ring. It's victory. It's a win for Raven Plummer. Comes across the line in first position. Senna Somerville behind, 16 seconds behind. Perhaps just in the nick of time. The finish line can't come soon enough. It's going to be second, third, and fourth for Somerville, Harrison, and Robinson, respectively. Jaden Harrison absolutely chasing down Somerville there towards the end of that race. A tenth between them coming across the line, and Robinson barely any further behind Harrison, finishing in fourth position. Stephen Pommels put on an absolutely magnificent race here. Going, it's like this man sees a gap and goes for the gap. It doesn't matter who else is there. Putting on quite a show here for us tonight around the Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit. Joshua Brady finishes in 6th position, besting Kimani Eastman, his newfound rival here in the preseason, followed by Chad Dillon in 8th position. Roger Keller finishing in 9th, managing to get past Stéphane Tremblay. Unfortunately, we didn't catch that one. We'll have to look at the replay there. Stéphane finishing in 10th position, and Nicholas Donald rounding out the grid in 9th position. Chad, can you hear me? Well, 1 second, Chad. Okay. Well, being here, sitting in your seat, commentating on this race, you definitely, we were rooting for you there, and you gave us an excellent race. That was an excellent drive from you there. Bring us through it. How was it for you?
Yeah, the first race had its excitement. The second race was not so hot, but the first race, lots of chaos took place here and there. Found myself in a pretty good position, I think, after the safety car restart. And Roger certainly had more pace than I did, so he got by fairly easily. And then it was just a matter of keeping the laps consistent, driving my race, and hoping for the best. But then Jaden started to catch me towards the end. I will say his pass looked nice. I do have questions, however, I will take that off air. Granted, he did have more pace than me, but yeah, no, congrats to him on taking that position on the penultimate lap, I think it was.
Yes.
But overall, it was fun. I think this is my first actual race driving these cars, and yeah, no, they're a bit of fun. And Austria is a fun track. Certainly, the track limits are challenging, but overall, can't complain about the way that shook out.
Yeah, these cars are the fan favorite. We see the fans and watchers ask for them time and time again. They provide, I think, the closest racing anywhere you'll see this side of the Greenwich Meridian. But, you know, thank you so much, Chad, for joining us here in the commentary box. Thank you for that synopsis of your race, and congratulations on your position for the first race it was.
Yes, sir. The second race was not so hot. I think I got caught in a little bit of carnage at the. No, I had a small incident with Roger, is what happened.
Right.
And then I waited on him, and from there the race just kind of unraveled. So yeah.
Well,
Overall, quite fun.
quite fun indeed. Fun to drive and fun to watch. Thank you, Chad Dillon. We're going to be talking to Jaden Harrison now. Jaden, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, Jaden, we just spoke to Chad, and of course we had to brush on that move you made going into the first corner. I think that's definitely in contention for move of the race. But that was only one part of both of your races. Talk us through your races. How was it for you?
I was pretty bad. I didn't get the car that I did practicing, so I didn't have any idea what I was doing, no setup or anything. So I started badly and just kind of tried to pull my way up through the grid, and it was very fun racing with everybody, very close and stuff, and bump draft and everything. And that overtake on Chad, I didn't expect it to work, but he gave me the space to make it work. I knew it's possible from practice, but he gave me the space and I did.
Well, you know, as you say, it was very fun, and it was very, I'm sure it was fun for you to drive and very fun for us to watch, and definitely fun for me to do commentary on. That was some, you know, some jaw-dropping moments there. And, you know, this coming off news that you'll be, well, everybody has been expecting it because we have been talking about it. But I want to ask you, how are you feeling heading into the event tomorrow, the WSS, the WSS virtual 12 hours of Daytona?
Figured we prepare for the race, so just to go into the race, and it's an endurance race, so nothing will ever go to plan. A lot of it is luck. So we prepare and do the best to go and do good.
Right, and that race, ladies and gentlemen, will be starting at 7 a.m. Saturday, the 10th of February to 8:30 p.m. the same day, and we'll be live streaming our drivers' POV on Sportsmax app, Twitch, and YouTube for the entirety of the event. Jaden, thank you so much for joining us, and congrats on your position in the race. Next, we will be speaking to, I believe it is Rajay Robinson. Let me drive Rajay. Mr. Robinson.
Hello.
Greetings, Mr. Robinson. That was you gave us a lot to, well, I'm sure some fans are rooting for you there, especially towards the end of that second race, trying to get
Yeah.
past Jaden. But take us through both races.
First race, we had a few incidents at the back, but nevertheless, once I got the clean air, then I just took it from there, set in 41s. So
All right.
race one was pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
Race two, however, I was, the aim was for me and Jaden just to cut through the pack, but I got backed up and Jaden went ahead, so I had to do it on my own.
Well,
But once I caught up, yeah, it was pretty fun.
yeah, that's what we're hearing. All the drivers I've interviewed so far saying it has been pretty fun, and of course, that is in keeping with the trend of the CTCC cars here. But touching on that strategy there for you and Jaden, is this something? Is this coming off the strategy meetings you guys would have been having for the WSS virtual 12 hours of Daytona that you guys will be participating in tomorrow?
Well, not really. For CTCCs, we are enemies. For this time around, I decided not to pressure him too much, try to allow him to catch Senna so I can catch both of them.
Right.
That almost played out. That we just needed one more lap for it to play out how I wanted to.
Right.
But yeah, come tomorrow with the 12 hours, we'll be
Mhm.
definite teammates. And we'll be taking the fight to the rest of the world.
Which is exactly what we want to hear, and we know you guys will make us proud from hell or high water. We're looking forward to that event, and congratulations on your victory here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That was Rajay Robinson, our race one winner. Now we'll be speaking to Senna Somerville. Senna, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Firstly, Senna, I'm sure that finish line could not come soon enough in that second race. That was quite a nail biter there, right down to the end. Take us through your races.
Yeah, well, first race I got a good start, but I realized I got penalized. I'm not used to the settings yet, and the speed limit. Yeah, I had to drive from the back, drove up to fifth. I think my racecraft is definitely there. I mean, as you can in the races, that's my strong point. I'm still lacking a bit of speed, compared to the guys like Raven and Jaden and all of those guys. But no, we're getting there. I think in a couple of races we should be as fast as those guys. In the second race, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to drive on your own. I was in second, and I was kind of you lose focus when you have no one to drive with. And I was watching them, and I knew when to push and when not to. And on the last lap, I was like, "Yeah, man, I have enough of a car length." But apparently I didn't. They caught me by the last corner, and it was a bit frightening. I had to step on it.
Yeah, I'm sure that gas pedal could not go down far enough, but you gave us some real exciting races, racing there, and we will be asking, or we're inviting the watchers to vote for their driver of the day and their overtake of the day. So, look out for those poll results. Your name might come up, but
Definitely.
Congratulations.
And to be fair, on that last lap, my foot actually wasn't down to the pedal. I actually waited quite a while for Jin to run into the back of me before I stepped on there.
Strategy. This is the racecraft you're talking about.
Yeah,
These guys have a
exactly.
million things going on in their minds while they are racing.
If I had just had it to the floor, they both would have passed me. So I just had to stop them in the middle of the corner and let him run into the back of me.
Wow.
before I stepped on the gas. But
be-
no, it was a good race.
To be fair, I'm not even sure if you should be mentioning that, you know. But
No, I mean you're allowed to do
we'll
that.
see.
I mean, just you step on the gas much later than normal. Like, you kind of
Right.
slow down the guys in the corner. Like, they have to brake or they're gonna run into the back of you. So that's what happened. But no, it was a good race and looking forward to more and getting faster. I'm getting better every week, so hopefully soon we're on the top.
Well said, and we're looking forward to your progress, Senna. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations on your result. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be speaking to our second race winner, Raven Plummer. Raven, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, firstly, congrats on a dominant second race. We know it didn't go exactly how you wanted it in the first one, but take us through both races, please.
Well, race one, I started on pole, right? But I got a little bit tripped up with the starting procedure. The first beep that I heard, which of course is the get ready beep, I thought it was the go beep, so I almost gave myself a jump start there. But because of that, I got a terrible launch into the start of the race and immediately fell into third. And after that, it was just small contact after small contact into bigger contact into even bigger contact. And once I realized I didn't have a shot at the race anymore, I stayed back in 10th so that I could start and pole on the second race.
Right.
And that went fantastic. Because of the reverse grid, I was able to create a gap immediately and then maintain it throughout the race.
It was, if I say so myself, flawless, Raven. I'm not sure if you're hearing it yet, but you definitely have a fan here in the commentary booth. So we're going to be looking forward to more racing action from you. Congrats on your victory. Once again, Raven. And to our watchers, if you're still here with us, thank you for joining us for the continuation of our official preseason testing. If you want to keep up to date with all that's going to be happening you can keep a line on our social media. Instagram, search for a JSRA official. On Facebook, Jamaica Simulation Racing Association. And watch us live on Twitch or watch the replays at JSRA_official. Remember to vote for your driver of the day and your move of the day or overtake. We'll be posting a poll shortly after the race, and everyone is free to respond to that poll for who you thought did it best here around the Red Bull ring. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure to have you join me for this amazing racing action here tonight. My name is Cale Baden Roper, and good evening.